Hey, I'm Captain Jimmy Decker. We're going to do a little Marlin lure rigging seminar here for Southern California Marlin. And we're going to need some 80-pound AFCO Psycho fluorocarbon leader. I use about 7.5 feet to start off with. You're going to need some Jinkai J sleeves. These are for 60 to 100-pound test. You're going to need a good set of crimping tools. Some of the hooks that I use are the Owner long shank trolling hooks. These are a thin wire. They're not like the big beef gaff hook Marlin lures hooks that a lot of guys use. These are a thin wire. They penetrate really well. The only downside with these hooks is you need to change them every probably 3 trips, because just the water running over that needle sharp point is gonna dull that tip. So the first thing you want to do, go ahead and run your 80-pound through your lure. Get that through there. I do not use a rubber stopper in here, so what I usually do is I'll run these small little plastic beads. You can get them at any hobby store. These are little diamond ones. You can use round ones. It doesn't really matter. Just something that's going to stop the swivel from hitting the back of the lure. So I'll run 2 of those on. Then you're going to want to put 2 of the crimping sleeves onto the leader, like that. Get this one in there. Go ahead, thread your hook on. Give yourself about maybe 10 inches of tag on there. You'll see that the reason for that in just a second. Go ahead, slide your 1 crimp on here. Get in there. Shaky old man. Swing that down there. Give yourself a little bit of a loop. Like I said, this is the way I personally rig my stuff. There's a million different ways, and a lot of guys do not like this hook setup, but it's very effective for me on my skiff. I like a free swinging hook behind my jig. All right, so you leave a little loop about that big, 1/4 of an inch or so. Go ahead, take your crimpers. The very top of the crimping tool is for the smallest crimps that they make, so that's the one you want to use. The line goes up and down in the crimp, and the swedge tool goes over the top like this. So a lot of guys think you go this way on top of it. You want to be on top of it just like that, and you want the jaws of the crimping tool right perfectly in line with what you got going on there. So you get that set up, and you go ahead and you squeeze it down, then press it down tight, and then let it off. And when you do your crimp right, that's what it's going to look like. You can see how it's smashed in the middle right there. The lines in between, okay? Now, here comes the part that's trial and error, all right? You want this to ride inside the bottom of your lure, and you want your hook to sit down here at the bottom. You don't want your hook buried up in the skirt, because if the fish comes up and whacks on that, he's not going to get the hook. So IGFA legal is the eye of the hook has to be inside the skirt. That's so you can see how my skirt's trimmed. There's a lot of little loose plastic hanging down there. So I'll run that up. I'll come back up here, and then I'll wrap this around the main line a few times. And what that's doing is that's giving this back edge some chafe protection. If you get a fish, comes up, gets this thing in the side of its face, this right here is what's rubbing on its bill. So I'll get it to where I got it. I'll pick it up. I'll lay it about to where I think it's going to be, and that right there would be like a dream date. If that's where it ends up coming out, I'm going to be super happy. That's why I have the beads there. I can add or subtract. Let me find my other crimp. Get your other crimp and slide it onto the tagging that you have hanging off there. Get it down to about where you thought your mark was going to be. I'm going to look at it one more time just to see if I'm going to be fairly close. That's probably going to be a hair too long. So I'm going to slide it down just a little teeny bit. That should be right about there. Same thing, lines are on top of each other inside the crimp. Go ahead and get your very end of the tool. Make sure you're right in the middle. You don't want to have it all the way up on one side or the other. Smash that down. Go in with your cutters, which are somewhere. I'll use these. Trim it off tight on there. I got 2 beads on here. I might have to pop one off. We'll see where we go. Oh my God, bonus. That's as close to being IGFA legal as you could possibly be in a million years. The skirt is over the eye of the hook. That is how far back I run my hooks. Okay, I run them as far back as is legally possible. If it was any further back, what I would do is I would drop this down, I'd pull this out through the front of the bait, and I would pull off one of these beads, and that would shorten me up just a little teeny bit. So now you got the business end done. You come back up here, you grab your other crimp. This is why you took out 3. You go through, come back around, go back in, take your torch. You want to just burn this end right here, just a little bit, tap it on the side there, give yourself a little mushroom flare right there. What that does is that'll keep this, it's the last savior before you pull this through if your crimp fails. So you run that all the way down, pull that up to whatever size you like to go through your swivel. That's about right for me. Same thing, the lines on top of each other. Get your tool, get it right on there. These are really small crimps, but you want to get it right in the center of the crimp. Squeeze it, then put the beans to it, pop it off, and you go from there. So now your rig is complete. You got your lure. Man, that's tight. That is really tight. You got your lure approximately 6.5 feet. So to be legal in the tournaments that we fish, 30 pound, over anything over 20 pound line, you're allowed 30 feet of leader. The wind-ons come in 60 foot. I have one around here somewhere, but I don't see it right now. They come in 30 foot lengths, so you want to cut 6 feet off or 7 feet off, so it's 23 feet, and then you have 6.5 feet, and that'll give you 29.5 feet, so you're legal for any of the money tournaments or the club tournaments that you guys might fish.